Welcome to Stream After Hours, featuring Tiffany Marano and Amanda Horstman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Streams After Hours podcast. I'm Amanda Horstman, a property manager in the DFW market, and I'm here today to interview Tiffany Marano. Tiffany, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, Tiffany Marano, Managing Director for the Dallas Property Management throughout Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Happy to be here today.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. And we're just going to start out with a couple of questions just based on background. If you can begin, we'd just like to know how you got into commercial real estate and what that background of yours looks like.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of people in property management, I just fell into it basically right after college looking for a job, and I had the opportunity of two job offers. One was residential, one was commercial, not knowing much about either one, and held out for the commercial offer and decided to accept it. And here I am 18 years later, and it's been a fun career, and knowing the growth that there is here, it's what just made me excited about it from day one.
That's definitely relatable. I definitely fell in on this side as well. Tiffany, you work incredibly hard. Can you tell us why this work's important to you?
I truly love what I do, and I think most of us that really, it's not for everybody, property management. It's not, it's detail oriented, but also it has evolved so much over the past 15 years as a property manager. We have to kind of be experts in all things, and I think focusing on the team and building the team and growing and mentoring is what I have a passion for. And so I think, showing somebody who's just getting into this industry the career path that they can have and where it can take them has really been valuable to me, and coaching those people up. And so I think working hard makes it easy. I came to Dallas with a fabulous team, and it makes you want to work harder and harder every day for those team. And I think growing the business so the team can have a career path and continue to grow their career is really the big focus for me.
Absolutely love that. And along those same lines, Tiffany, of coaching up, would you be able to share any tips for someone who's trying to stand out and really eventually make it to your level?
So I think one of the biggest things is, throughout my careers, I wanted more, and I wanted to be the best. And I wasn't afraid to just take on everything. And I worked closely with my managers at the time, just give me everything. And it might be a lot more work up front, but knowing that you're going to grow your team as a result of the portfolio that you're growing and continue to expand your portfolio just builds the team under you. And I think mastering what you do at every level is really important. I mean, if we all strive for more, we all want the next level, we want to get there. And I think at every level, whether it's the admin level or the assistant manager, property manager, you name it, you want to focus on each task at hand, and while striving for more, making sure that you're mastering that, whether it's budgets or CAMREX. As you become a manager, constructive feedback for your team is really important. And I always value that, because if you don't give feedback, you don't know what you're doing, right or wrong. And, it might not be the easiest or most comfortable conversation to have with certain people, but I always appreciated that, because you can only learn from that and grow. And that's how you get to the next level, is by seeking that feedback and just really focusing in on your skills and while taking on more.
All right, great advice. You can see I'm taking notes. Can you share what you think is maybe a common myth about this industry or this job?
I think for property management, a lot of people just don't know what we do. You know, I think some people, and not to any fault of their own, but you know, they think we handle the landscaping and the air conditioning at properties. Meanwhile, there's so much other stuff that, as you know, goes into property management. You know, it's like I said earlier, it's really becoming an expert in all things, and I think, like I said, the 15 years, it's evolved so much where we're not just going on landscape walks or conducting HVAC inspections or working with our engineers. It's the financial component, understanding in and out, the inside and outside of every single building, knowing what you're working with and anticipating the client needs, being proactive in that approach. I think there's, you know, we've had, as you know, riots and storms and weather and everything that we have to be prepared for and anticipate. And I think that just focusing in on that and asking the questions to help you understand, not you, but everybody, is really critical, and it really just helps somebody evolve into this career.
I completely agree. And I always hear the phrase that people seem to use, I know a little about a lot. And what I'd like to say about property managers is we know a lot about a lot because we just have to. And I really enjoy that aspect of the job. Can you share, Tiffany, what goals you're currently pursuing, either career or personal or both?
So I think it's, you know, I'm new to Dallas. I've been here a year, and it's been the best year that I've had. And I think goals, my personal goals is just getting more involved in the community, just knowing the Dallas market, getting involved in community, philanthropy, but also networking. And then, you know, as I've gotten to know the team over the past year, I think it's really a big focus of mine to continue to build the relationships with the team. The team is the reason why we're here today. And I think the value that they bring and getting to know everyone on a more personal level goes so much further, just to understand their, you know, what their desires are with the career. And I think now that it's been a year, I think that, you know, building upon those relationships with everyone on the team is really a big focus.
As you said, you moved to Texas from California. What would you say has been the biggest challenge, just changing that landscape for yourself?
The weather.
Yes, I can see that.
It is interesting, the weather. I mean, from a property management perspective, obviously the weather is a big concern here. In California, you have fires and earthquakes. Here, there's tornadoes and freezes, and then there's heat waves. So that's a huge adjustment. But other than that, it's property management is very similar, but the weather is, you know, interesting in Texas, to say the least.
I would have to agree. I'm a transplant as well, coming from Minnesota, so very drastic change in the weather. I know what that's like.
It's worth it for sure, but
absolutely,
a change.
Best decision I've ever made. Let's see. Switching gears to, I'm going to ask you now: has a failure or an apparent failure set you up later for success? And would you say you have a favorite failure?
Well, I think everyone makes mistakes. What I will say, there's plenty of failures that I've made. I think that I don't know that I can pinpoint just one of them, but I don't frown upon failures. I think it just makes somebody stronger. And I think when you make a mistake or fail at something, you're not going to make that mistake again. You're going, you know, anyone who makes a mistake, and if they're receptive to your feedback or receptive to, you know, listening on how it could be done better, that, you know, they'll just become a better person after all of that.
I love that. I share your opinion. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough, because you're going to fail and you're going to succeed.
Exactly.
Absolutely love that. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you ever have made? Whether it be money, time, energy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's a great question. So I think, we can look at investments as buying real estate, which was a great investment that I made. I've recently sold since I've moved to Texas, my home in Orange County. But I think one of the biggest investments you can make is in yourself. We're all tied to our phones every single day. We're tied to emails, we're tied to our laptops, and we have access to this technology 24/7. But it's realizing when you need to take a break and take a moment for yourself and focus on yourself, because if you don't recharge yourself, how are you going to be able to do a good job at work or for your family or anywhere in life? I think it's hard to take time for ourselves, and I realize that there's families and work and everything that comes into play, but if you don't, you're just going to wear yourself out. And I think focusing on that is key to success.
I agree. Burnout is so real. So nice to take time out to do what feeds your soul outside of work. What character traits do you like or respect in people?
So all of them. I think we all bring something different to the table at every level. I think especially in property management, everyone's personality and every trait that they brings value to the team. I think if you can have accountability for your actions and what you do, I think that's really admirable, because it shows that you really want to learn, you're taking responsibility. I think it's, having that accountability just shows that you truly care and you want to get to the next level. And I think that's what, we all started out in this career at some point. We're all, like I said again, we're all making mistakes, but focusing on that, learning from them, realizing your actions is going to take you to the next level.
And would you have any advice for someone who is just now breaking into property management?
I think that it is a great career path. I think, again, we all have to start somewhere, and focusing on the tasks at hand and your role and the value that your role brings to the company and your team, and putting in 100% every single day is critical. I think it again, we all want more. Don't be afraid to continue to take on more work and more tasks, knowing that hopefully your manager has your best interest in mind, because as managers, we all want our team to succeed. If our team doesn't succeed, it's looked down upon us, right? And so I think knowing that you might have to put in a little extra effort at times, it will only help in the long run.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. Tiffany, what are you most excited about or looking forward to professionally in the next coming year?
So like I said, this month marks 1 year with Stream. And I always tell everyone that I hire, whether they're a manager or a director, you name it, it takes a full year to really understand a portfolio, a property, the team, to get to know everybody. You have to go through budgets, and you have to go through CAMREC season, and you have to create all of that. Although I didn't give myself that credit, I wanted to jump right in. Now that it's been a year, I feel like I've gotten to know everybody. I'm building the relationships. I'm looking forward to continuing to build on those relationships, and the Stream platform is just incredible. They allow Stream allows us to work autonomously while being a resource for us every day. And I think to bring that property management to the next level within Stream and continue to grow the business, which will allow our teams to grow with their own careers, I think is what I'm excited about for the next year.
I love that, and I'm excited to see it. How do you create a community within your team and continue to foster those relationships?
I love that question. I think it's really having an open door policy and being there for your team. We're all busy and we all have our own job that we have to focus on, but taking time for others and understanding their desire. It's knowing that we have folks on our team who want to be the president. We have folks on our team who are perfectly happy in their position, and knowing and understanding what everyone's desire is really key to fostering a great team environment and keeping that open door policy and building those relationships, giving them the skill set, the tools and the resources they need to build the skill set to get to that next level or whatever it is that they desire, but making the time to understand that really builds the team dynamic, and promoting from within is really important for me. I think for those who wish to grow and want to grow within the industry and the company, they might not have all the skill sets, but if there's a position open, I would rather invest the time in that person and mentor and coach them up and give them the opportunity than hire from the outside. I mean, we always have to hire from the outside if needed, but I'd rather give somebody an opportunity if we know that they're a hard worker and they're loyal. They just need a little bit more coaching to get there.
Absolutely, and I know we all really appreciate that perspective that you have and absolutely love working with you. What do you think someone on our side would say about working with you?
I hope it's that I'm a resource for them. I support the team in every aspect, but I also allow them to work autonomously, just like Stream supports that with all of us. I support that with the team. We're all here to do a job, and I think we all want to do a good job. And I think if we give somebody the autonomy to do that, they're going to want to do good work. So I hope that people see that. And, like I said, the Stream team is fantastic. So I walked into this company with a fantastic team, and I only want to continue to make it better and expand on the team that we have by allowing them to grow with whatever their desire is.
Okay, here's a fun one. Who inspires you and why?
That is a fun one. So there are a lot of people who inspire me. I mean, I think first and foremost, it's, my parents who worked their whole life, and you see them getting up at 3 a.m. every single day to go to work, and they owned a restaurant when we were younger. So we were able to work. I think I've been working since I was 8 years old at the restaurant. But knowing what it takes to build a restaurant and to open it, it's 24/7 job. It's, you don't just, when you're going to dine into a restaurant, you show up at 7 p.m. and you leave, but the work that goes on behind the scenes to make it seamless from the front is what was inspirational. I knew what it took for them to go in every day, and I saw that the customers appreciated it, and so I feel like that's kind of transferable to property management, where we know what it takes to what goes on behind the scenes, and the clients see a perfect financial report every day, or their property looks great, and there's always going to be issues at the property, but to be proactive and anticipate their needs, I think that's what goes on behind the scenes, and all of the effort that goes on to make that engine run, that's really key to success. So I would have to say, to go back to the question, is my parents, and who really just taught me to put in the effort and the work and just get it done, whatever it takes.
And what was your favorite part about working at the restaurant?
The customers. I think it's fun to interact with customers. It's fun to socialize every day and just watch them enjoy everything while, it's rewarding when somebody actually enjoys the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. And what do you do for fun outside of working and taking care of your cute little pups?
My hairless dogs, they are fun. I think, I have lots of nieces and nephews, and 4 of them live right down the street from me, so I spend a lot of time with them. Pickleball is a big thing. Unfortunately, I don't play as often as I'd like anymore, but I used to play quite a bit, and that's fun. And that sport is growing like crazy right now, so I'll have to get back into it. But right now, I think my nieces and my nephews are just about every weekend for me.
Oh, that's so sweet. What is a song that is guaranteed to get you on the dance floor every time?
That's a fun one. Let's see. I probably would have to say Whitney Houston's I Just Want to Dance with Somebody.
Classic. You're just going to have a bunch of people just start randomly playing it when you walk down the halls.
I'm not saying I'm a good dancer, but it'll get me out there, that's for sure.
I love that. Whitney's the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Tiffany, we asked you who inspires you and why, and it was your parents, and I loved everything about that. Aside from them, maybe in a professional sense, who has had the greatest impact on your life as far as like mentorship?
I think one of my first bosses, Amy, she's now become a really dear friend of mine, and we probably talk maybe not daily, but almost. She's been a mentor of mine professionally. She taught me not only the technical skills of property management, but how to also mentor and coach, and the importance of that for the team. And I think she really focused on supporting me and giving me the resources and tools that I needed to continue to grow throughout my career. And that's really why it's so important to me, because I had that. I hope to be that for others, but again, it goes back to understanding what somebody wants and their desires to help them achieve their goals. But she's still here for questions if I have any. Everyone kind of needs to bounce ideas off of somebody, and she's been a mentor professionally, and I learned a lot from her, and I relied on her a lot. But she helped me get me to where I am today, and I hope that I can do that for others on our team.
That sounds like an amazing relationship. Along those lines, Tiffany, do you think it's important for people who are trying to move up in the company to identify a mentor early on and kind of form that relationship?
Absolutely. If you can have a mentor personally, professionally, we're all trying to do our best, and it doesn't hurt to bounce ideas off of one another. I think relying on your team, no matter what the level, is great. I think everyone has a level of expertise no matter what position they're in, but identifying a mentor so you can just stay on the right path and talk through things it's really important, and it's helpful for your own personal growth.
Absolutely agree. Tiffany, to wrap this up, last question is going to be, what do you think is the hardest project or building that you've worked on in your career?
I probably wouldn't say building or project, but it's keeping up with the evolving property management role. I know we touched on it earlier, but property management has changed so much in the last 15 years. We're dealing with not just the operations component of the property, but we're dealing with riots and weather and ESG, which is at the forefront of most clients' initiatives, and it's an important component that we have to factor into our day-to-day work. I think it's understanding all of those and anticipating their needs and trying to be ahead of it and ahead of the curve. That way we can anticipate and act on what the client's looking for. So, and it's not that, it can be challenging at times. It's exciting because it's evolving, but it's important to just learn, and it's diving into something that you might not be familiar with. It's not our everyday role, but taking the bull by the horns and just working through it and figuring it out and making sure that we're proactive in it, I think it can be challenging at times, but also very rewarding, and it's exciting to be a part of it. But I really liked that question, so I'd like to ask you the same question. What's some of the most challenging either components or buildings or projects that you've worked on?
So I would say the most fun project that I've worked on is a downtown high-rise. So I actually got to work in a high-rise off Main Street. It had a hotel component. It had retail, office. It just was bursting with activity at all hours of the day and night. So we had fires, floods, you name it. And it was very exciting to be a part of solving problems when they arose. It made you feel very important, and I loved it. It was challenging in the moment, but looking back, it's like those were such great days.
And I think that's, I love that you said that, but I think what's interesting about that is you said it's challenging in the moment, but that's how we grow too, right? If everything's status quo, you're not learning. During the recession, unfortunately, in 2009, 2010, things were challenging, but that's the time, some of us grew the most. And this building that you just referenced, it may have been challenging from you, but it probably helped you to get to where you are today, which is an amazing position. And things that you didn't know you needed to learn. I think there's so many things out there. We don't know what we don't know, which is kind of an interesting thing to say, but it's so true, especially in property management. If we haven't come across the situation, we don't know what we're missing.
You are absolutely right. So I've had a building where it was brand new, everything's shiny, and really your job is to maintain the, Class A standard. But this building I was just previously speaking of, it was not. It was older. It would have things break every day, and that is where the real learning actually came from, is having
Absolutely.
that equipment break down and figuring out what's needed to get everything back running per the normal.
Yeah, and understanding the intricacies of that equipment, right? Because you don't want to just relay it to a client of, oh, the HVAC isn't working, we need to fix it. But it's like, what's not working about it? Going to the area to see it, going to the system and mechanical equipment, and having your engineer walk you through everything so you can physically see it, which helps you translate that message to the client. And it just helps the overall big picture of knowing your portfolio inside and out. So it's great that you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciated all your answers. This was amazing.
It was great. Thank you for the questions. It was such a good time to be here with you.